This is Bishop Dr. Truman Burst. Master Herbalist, coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries.
Kombucha mushroom. In my new big mug. My daughter Anna got this one.
We at least 816-850-4477. Please leave your name and any message and phone number after the beep, and we'll return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
Yes, this is Truman, the herbalist, answering your question for somebody that wanted to know about what to do when there's anemia and you're losing so much iron you have to keep going back to the hospital to get more blood. And so there are many different things that we need to do. We need to look at the whole body, looking at the diet. Certainly, if you just want to know one herb that is 40% natural iron and more available than any other way, just take a tincture of a formula that's called Anemia. It has yellow dock in it, and yellow dock is 40% iron. So that would be a good herb for you to know about. But when there's anemia, there's a lot of things going on. Millions of Americans suffer from anemia. So there's a lot to talk about here that we need to do. Folic acid and biotin and the iron from the anemia herbal tincture called Anemia that's got yellow dock in it. But there's a lot of things that he can do, lots of B12 and maybe B12 injections, as well as taking B12 and B complex and pantothenic acid and B6 and vitamin C with lots of bioflavonoids, lots of coenzyme A, and taking copper and zinc, but only take about 2 milligrams of copper. But there's a lot of things like SAM-E, that's another supplement, at least 10,000 IUs of vitamin A daily. Vitamin E, there's all kinds of herbs besides that. Yellow dock, there's alfalfa and bilberry and cherry and dandelion and golden seal and grape skins, resveratrol. There's just a lot of things. Shepherd's purse, red raspberry, pau de arco, Oregon grapefruit, hawthorn berry, mullein, and nettles. All of these are herbs to get into your diet, but there's a lot more information that I can share with you about anemia. And so if you give me a call back, I'll be glad to answer your questions. My telephone number is 541-981-2520. Give me a call. Thank you. God bless you. Bye for now. Okay. The person wasn't there, but I left them some usable information until they can get back to me about this anemia. But let's talk about anemia though. Let's put it on the books here. It's my quest to detail. How many pages in this book? This book, prescription. Oh my goodness, it's big. Prescription for Nutritional Healing. Oh, can you see that? That's a great book. Okay, it's a great book. And what I'm doing here is detailing what the America's #1 a natural health guide. There's over 7 million copies of this out already over the past 10 years. And I started out buying these books the first month that was out. 15 years ago now. Wow, time flies. So anyway, yeah. But this book is huge, and it's just got so much information in it. And what I'm doing here is creating an audio and a video, and we're going to go through the book from cover to cover, but we're going to stop now and then and detail specific information around people's questions. Like that person called me up and they wanted to know about anemia. So I'm looking at this book and I'm seeing 869 pages. So it's going to take me a while to get through this book and put it all on audio and video, detailing it against the 14,000 natural products that I've manufactured, and most of them I invented over the past 51 years of doing this. So, do I ever tell you my name? My name is Truman Burst. I probably didn't. My name is Truman Burst. I'm a graduate ethnobotanist, phytotherapist, master herbalist, chartered herbalist, master herbologist with 51 years of experience. And I started a nonprofit a long time ago. And it's in Albany, Oregon. And this nonprofit, Alternative Health and Herbs Remedies, helps people at no charge. We make sure you get information. Then if you need these products, and who doesn't need vitamins and herbs and supplements to build you up and make you healthy and keep you healthy? Everybody does. You need nutrients. And so they're there to guide you, to help you. We don't prescribe. We don't diagnose. We are chased around by the evil FDA and harassed and sued. We've sued them. They've sued us. It's a bitter battle. It's expensive. I can't afford it. I need help on that. If you can help me there, please send a donation so that I can pay the $3,000 that I currently am back, that I owe my legal fees, and I'm $3,000 in the hole right now, and I don't have it. I can't come up with that much. I've already come up with too much, and I'm struggling to fight the FDA for you and for me. In other words, I'm fighting for our rights to get this information out and get products to you. And the FDA and the administration, it's their policy to stop health food companies and discourage them and discourage you and tell you to eat GMO and run to your doctor and get a prescription, because the prescription pharmaceutical industry is who is pushing their agenda. The FDA belongs to them. That's their bully boys. That's their police force. They're not for you or for me. They're for the pharmaceutical industry, and those people are ruthless. And we've got the wolf in the hen house, and we got to get them out of there. They have no business. The FDA, who's the police bully boys, and they are bully boys. They bullied me. They've tried to get me to sign things that were false admissions of guilt and so forth. I won't do it. I'm standing up. I'm fighting, but I need your help. I mean, I'm a pastor on a fixed income, and it's less and less every year because the economy is growing. My Social Security check doesn't go very far these years. So anyway, help us all you can with a donation. Call 541-791-8400. Go on the website, healthherbs.com. It says right on the homepage, please donate, help us out. And if you can help other people. I have so many people with cancers, diabetes, tumors, all kinds of they can't work anymore. We have people so sick they can't work. We give them deep discounts to, well, we can't afford it and can't hardly pay the rent at the end of the month for our big manufacturing facility because we run that close, helping that many people. We don't have the resources. We need your help. If you know anyone that you can sponsor that has any, because we've got so many people that are sick and we can't help them all. We have to turn people away. That breaks my heart because I'm in here to help people, and I do it at no charge. So and we're still having to turn people away, not from the free information, but we can't give people free information and then pay for the products and hand them to them. You know, that doesn't work. You know, if we were wealthy and so forth, but we're not. We're a nonprofit Christian ministry, and it's a blessing to do this labor of love in the name of Jesus Christ to help people, and that's what we do. So let's talk about anemia, okay? And then we'll move on to other things. But anemia, you know, that's where I mentioned that millions of Americans suffer from anemia, which is a reduction in either the number of red blood cells or the amount of the hemoglobin in the blood. The results, you know, this results in a decrease in the amount of oxygen that's in the blood, and that the blood is able to carry. It can't carry enough oxygen because of the reduction of red blood cells or hemoglobin in the blood. Now, anemia reduces the amount of oxygen available to the cells of the body. So you're getting less oxygen to the cells. So it stands to reason. That's why coenzyme Q10, which helps to bring oxygen to the cells, would be a good thing to know about. Kangen water, another good thing to know about. That's going to help the cells. MSM is going methyl sulfonyl methane. It's a white powder. MSM powder. If you're taking you can start with a teaspoon 3 times. Some people, if you're sensitive to things, start with 1/4 of a teaspoon 3 times a day and chase it with some water. Like that. Kangen water. That is so good. So, see, the reason why Kangen water is so good is it rehydrates the cells better. It takes the water and takes a large molecule and splits it in 2, and it becomes 2 molecules. And that rehydrates cells better and gets oxygen to the cells better and helps when there's anemia. So, Kangen water, water. There's some different waters out there, but I'm on, and we make all of our products, all of the liquid products, Kangen water. Okay, now about anemia. So, as a result of not getting enough oxygen to the cells have less energy and available to perform their normal functions. But when you know about MSM and yellow dark, which is 40% iron, and this anemia formula, where's my thing? Is this it? No, that's not it either. Okay, here it is. I can do this. Okay, anemia formula. So let's take a look at anemia formula, herbal anemia formula. Okay. Here we go. An herbal formula called anemia comes in a 1 ounce or a 2 ounce or a 4 ounce or an 8 ounce or a 16 ounce bottle. The idea is get the smaller bottles to start with. Make sure it's what you want, what you need, like a 1 ounce or a 2 ounce. And if it's working for you and it's helping you, then you get larger sizes. Get a 16 ounce or a 32 ounce so that you can If you're going to be using it for a while, then you get bulk discounts because we do that. And so the anemia formula, the herbs that are in it are dandelion root, barberry bark, parsley, yellow dock, there's that yellow dock, which is 40% iron, and myrrh and kelp and alfalfa. So that's an anemia herbal tincture. Now that tincture comes as a tincture, a liquid and alcohol base, but it's a low alcohol base. We pride ourselves on using the minimum amount of alcohol that it takes to keep the product from going bad. And when you make it correctly, then it's like a fine wine. And as a tincture that is a low alcohol is made correctly with Kangen water and our proprietary method of extraction, well, then when you do that, then you have this really concentrated formulation or single herb. Whether it's a single herb or a compound formula, it's going to be much more concentrated. When you put it under the tongue, then you're going to get 250 times to 500 times more absorption than you would an ordinary herbal tincture or a capsule or a tablet, especially those, because the capsule and the tablet is going right through the, right into the stomach right away. That tincture is going under the tongue and in the bloodstream, and you're going to absorb more by taking it sublingually under the tongue than any other way. So that's why the liquids are so important. Even herbal tea. But let's talk a little bit more about anemia. So as a result of this oxygen and deficiency and so forth caused at a cellular level with anemia, then you've got important processes such as muscular activity and cell building and repair that they slow down, and they become less efficient. And when the brain lacks oxygen, which another thing to help get a brain oxygen to that brain is the Kangen water, is the MSM, is those kinds of things, but also lecithin granules, because lecithin crosses the blood-brain barrier and feeds the nervous system. The brain is nervous tissue, so it's going to feed the brain, and it's going to help carry herbs and foods and nutrients to the brain cells, because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. Lecithin granules. Okay, and they're tasteless. You put them on foods, put them in anything. People put them in beverages and stir them up and so forth. I put it on my cereal, with some super green foods, number 3600. Yes. Okay, now, so here we are with this anemia, and everything's less efficient. And the brain lacks oxygen, and dizziness may result, and mental faculties are less sharp. So that's why we're going to use things like a memory stimulant formula. And let's go take a look at our website and see what our website has to say. Let's go right over here. Here we go. There we go. And here's a memory stimulant and focus kit of all kinds of different things. That's got ginkgo biloba that increases peripheral circulation and circulation to the brain. And ginkgo, you can get it as a single herb or as a formulation. Formulas are herbs that complement each other and make everybody work better, faster, stronger. You get more nutrients that are targeted specifically. So that's why compound formulas work better than single herbs. But if you're someone who's got allergies, or you just want to try the primary herb in the formula, ginkgo biloba is one that really helps to stimulate the mind. Even with Meniere's syndrome, and it increases vitality and circulation to the brain. But let's take a look at a memory stimulant formula. There's a memory brain energy balance formula. So the memory stimulant formula number 1546, let's take a look at that, because that particular memory stacosis and foti root. And the foti root is a Chinese longevity herb that keeps you young, and it's something that I found out about decades ago, and it's one of the things that helps keep me young. So foti root. But when you combine the foti with the Eleutherococcus sentacosus, also called Siberian ginseng, when you combine that, and then you combine that with gotu kola clears the mind, and ginkgo stimulates the brain and brings circulation to the brain. So now we're really increasing oxygen. All of this is helping to bring more oxygen to the brain, okay, and also to the peripheral, to the rest of the body. So that is a formula called number 1546, memory stimulant, that's got the ginkgo leaf, gotu kola, eleuthero in it, and the foti roots in there, and it's made with structured water, which is another. You see, you can't advertise that you make anything with Kangen water. Can't do that. People got so many rules. So factually, then, we have an industrial Kangen water machine, and we make structured water, and that's what we put on our label, that it's structured water, because that's what it is, and because it's been structured, split molecule, it's been cleaned, split the molecule, and changed the vibration, and the frequency of the molecule of water, and it splits into, and then you have two smaller molecules of water that rehydrates you better than ever before. And then when you know about these nutrients that we're talking about for allergy, we also talked about a brain stimulant. Okay, we're talking about anemia, and we're looking at herbs that increase circulation and to the brain, and create more brain balance. So here's a formula called Brain Balance, and it's number 1068. So number 1068, that's got gotu kola, which is again clearing the mind. Kelp, it's full of nutrients. It has alfalfa, more nutrition. Dandelion, and even more nutrition. It has hydrangea, and hydrangea will break stones down anywhere in the body, including pituitary stones, and hydrangea can help to do that. But it's also got safflower, because hydrangea is digestive, so it's going to help to digest. It's going to help the digestive process, and it's going to help to really break all these nutrients down in the alfalfa and the dandelion and the kelp, and also safflower and parsley are in there. And guess what else is in the brain balance? More foti, the longevity herb. So that's a fabulous formula for brain balance. So those are some things when there's anemia that could be helpful. But let's get back more to anemia now, because anemia is not a disease. Okay? It's not a disease. We're not talking about diseases. Anemia is a symptom of various diseases. Anything that causes a deficiency in the formation or production of red blood cells, or that leads to the too rapid destruction of red blood cells, can result in anemia. So it's sometimes the first detectable sign of arthritis would be anemia. Then arthritis shows up, or infection. Certain major illnesses including cancer. You start out with anemia, and pretty soon they're telling you have cancer. So it's sometimes pointing to being the first detectable signs of diseases, and even drug use and hormonal disorders and chronic inflammation in the body, and surgery and infections, peptic ulcers, hemorrhoids, diverticular disease, heavy menstrual bleeding, repeated pregnancies could cause anemia, liver damage, thyroid disorders, rheumatoid arthritis, bone marrow disease, and dietary deficiencies, especially deficiencies in iron and folic acid and vitamin B6 and B12 can all lead to anemia. So you want to make sure that you're getting good doses of iron with that, and you are if you're taking the anemia formula, and you're taking let's say anywhere from to start with 6 drops to 12 drops 3 times a day. And if that starts bringing it up, because you're going to need to drink water, because water will build new blood, just water, but you want it to be rich with lots of nutrients. And that's why that the brain balance formula with the alfalfa and the dandelion and the hydrangea, and taking all these nutrient rich nutrients and supplements and foods into your diet, that's going to really get rid of the anemia. So let's take a look at iron. So you're going to get the iron from the anemia herbal formula, or directly from Yellow Dock, which is 40% iron. Okay, then there's things like like that iron. You want to, it's as prescribed by a physician. If you're going to take iron, which is ferrous, to restore iron, you'd use ferrous gluconate form, and you do not take iron unless anemia is diagnosed. And in other words, don't guess at it, and don't just start taking anemia formula because you suspect anemia. Have a clear diagnosis from your doctor of a health professional of anemia, and then deal with it with the anemia formula. Then you won't have to use the ferrous gluconate form. And you take about 100, you take that with along with about 100 milligrams. I'd take it with 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. They've got down there, take it with 100, but 100 is nice, but 1,000 would be great. A good load of vitamin C. That's going to give you better absorption of the iron when you're taking vitamin C with it. And so that's one of the things that's going to get the. We talked about iron, and anemia. Now let's talk about how much folic acid. The folic acid would be about 800 micrograms daily. And that's needed for red blood cell formation. And then there's also the amino acid L-taurine. L-taurine is the amino acid that helps to build red and white blood cells. So that's a good thing to know about if you need to do that. Some people, they're getting vitamin B12 injections and taking 2,000 micrograms of B12 3 times daily, and it gets sublingually under the tongue, liquid B12, like the kind that I have there. I've got a B12 and folic acid drops, so that gets your folic acid and your B12 all at the same time, sublingually under the tongue. And yes, you may not have to take the injections, but if you're really super deficient and your healthcare professional says maybe we better get some injections because you're dangerously low on iron, well, then that's a decision that has to be made on the spot. Now, a vitamin B complex, at least 50 milligrams of each of the major B vitamins 3 times daily. Or if you've got a time released, that's 100, 150. Then you can take one in the morning, one at night. Or if you found out about that Intramax, ask us about Intramax. Over 400 vitamins and nutrients in 1/2 of a capful in a dose of it. You're gonna take half a capful in the morning, half a capful at night, and that felt good. Because Intramax is the best liquid multiple vitamin you can take, and you hold it in your mouth for a while. I got some fulvic acid, humic acid, so first thing in the morning, after I'm all cleaned up, brushed my teeth, and go in there and I take about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of humic acid, fulvic acid, because that's the one thing that will make plants and animals just improve their health dramatically. That one nutrient, fulvic acid, humic acid. We'll have to tell you more about that another time. But anyway, so I take some of that. You can get that from us. I take about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of that, hold it in my mouth, go to the kitchen, get my Intramax, take that, shake it up and down real good because it's in the refrigerator, and take that cap off, pour half a capful, and put that in my mouth with the fulvic acid still there. Now I got a pretty good mouthful of stuff, Intramax and fulvic acid in my mouth. I hold it there for a couple of minutes. And then I do something that some people agree that I should do. They say you should have 1 cup of coffee a day. It's not so bad. It's okay. And as long as you don't have too much. And yes, of course, too much is too much. That's a relative term. Too much is when it's not the right amount for you, or then that's too much. If it's too much for you, then it's too much, even if it's a tiny amount. However, I have a cup of coffee. And so while I'm brewing the coffee, I'm holding this Intramax and this fulvic acid, humic acid in my mouth. A couple of minutes while I reach in the refrigerator and I get my capsules of colostrum, which build up the immune system. Now, all of this is going to help anemia. I'm not off the beaten path. All of this is going to increase the immune system, no matter what your health challenge is or what you're trying to do to build yourself up. These are things that's going to make a difference, because I start my day with finally taking a big drink of Kangen water. Got another glass here of Kangen water. Haven't finished my other one though. And drinking down my fulvic acid and Intramax all at the same time. Hold it in my mouth, rinse around a little bit. Yes. And take a couple of capsules of colostrum. Swallow that. Keep drinking and keep sipping away on my Kangen water. And then get my bag of acidophilus powder, which is high tech, and I keep that in the freezer with the colostrum capsules. And now I've got the big bag of acidophilus. Get my spoon in there and take about a level teaspoon, maybe a little bit less, and chase it down with some more Kangen water. And that's how I start my day. Okay. Then I'm buzzing around here answering emails and telephones and helping people and stuff. And I'm sipping on my coffee and get that cup of coffee down. Then I'm sipping on things like herbal tea, like that Daily Health Tea, Pau de Orco bark. And kombucha mushroom beverage. It's not really a mushroom. It's a fungus. And it's famous for longevity and giving you lots of energy and stuff. That's kombucha mushroom. It's a beverage. You can make it at home. And that's the way to do it. And we can send you a kombucha mushroom. And then you can, give you the directions how to make it and so forth. And you'll have all the kombucha mushroom juice you want. And you'll have, these things are like rabbits. They just keep giving you more and more mushroom. So you have to give them to your friends till you run out of, until everybody's got one. And then you just have to find new friends to give them to. So anyway, so we're talking about anemia, and we talked about things like iron, folic acid, and lots of B6 and lots of B12, because all those, a deficiency of any of those, iron, folic acid, B6, and B12, that will cause anemia. So now there are also a number of hereditary disorders such as sickle cell disease and thalassemia that cause anemia. So if it's sickle cell disease or thalassemia, you need a correct diagnosis so you know what you're dealing with. That's why anemia just isn't a simple thing. Oh, I got anemia. I'll take some iron. If you've got sickle cell disease or thalassemia, then you need it diagnosed so you can deal with it properly. For instance, sickle cell anemia affects about 71,000 people, mostly African American and Mediterranean descent in the United States. About 71,000 people, have it and have sickle cell anemia. Now, it's rare. It's inherited. It's an inherited blood disease that causes red blood cells to become brittle and crescent-shaped, and painful crises arise when the affected cells become jammed in narrow blood vessels, producing painful swelling of the hands and the feet, accompanied by a fever, fatigue, and pneumonia-like symptoms. And that would be a good time to know about colloidal silver water and start drinking maybe 1 glassful 2 or 3 times a day for about a week, and then maybe a half a glassful 3 times a day for about a week, a couple of weeks, and then see how, if you're done, great. Then you stop taking colloidal silver water, because you don't take colloidal silver water every day. It's a metal. It is a metal. It's silver, and in the presence of silver, all viruses, funguses, bacteria, they die, because what silver does, especially in colloidal suspension, we give you a little box about the size of a deck of cards. I should bring one sometime and show it to you. But this colloidal silver little box, you make all the colloidal silver water you want. It costs $79.95. But if you went out and bought a gallon of colloidal silver water, it's probably going to cost you probably $150 or something for a gallon. And you can make a gallon. You can make gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons for years and years with this little box. It's portable. You take it with you anywhere you want to go. Oh, there are going to be people that tell you, oh, my box is better, cheaper. No, it's usually more. Nobody makes one less, and we don't make it cheap either. It lasts forever. They don't break unless you break them. The batteries run low, and then you put new batteries in it every 2 or 3 years, unless you're using it every single day, like Michael Crow's at the Home and Garden Show. You know, he uses it all the time. But even he tells me that his colloidal silver generator, the batteries just last and last. But if they do run down, put new batteries in it, that's all you ever have to do. Besides, when you wear out the rods, and I think he's been about 3 or 4 years and he still hasn't worn out the rods, but they're silver rods, pure silver, 9.999 pure silver. And these rods, and you have you clip. It's an alligator clip on, and this little box has a wire, and the wire has an alligator clip, and you clip the silver rod, and then you bend it down, put it in a glass. Then you get the other alligator clip, put another silver rod in it, bend it over, put that down into the glass of distilled water, if possible, and that's how you make. In about 10 minutes, you have a glass of colloidal silver water that if you went to buy it, they're going to charge you $15 or $20 for it, and there it is. You got it. And it's in 10 minutes. And that little box, it's all put together, it's all ready to go, and all you do is just say, send me the box. And you plug, and as soon as you get it, you just take it out of the package, put the rods in there, bend it over, put it down in a glass of water, and you are in 1 minute making colloidal silver water, and in about 10 minutes you're done. So colloidal silver water is incredible because what it's doing in there, those rods are about 1 inch apart, you know, and what it's doing in there is causing submicroscopic particles of silver to come off of those rods because the batteries are creating a conductivity. Don't worry, you cannot get shocked or anything like that. That doesn't happen. But anyway, you can touch it and everything, doesn't matter. But what happens is those two rods are down in the water, and a conductivity of electricity is trying to go between plus and minus on these and thereby what they call tearing. It's tearing. These are silver rods. I should bring them and show it to you. But anyway, it tears the silver off the rod, puts it into a submicroscopic solution, carrying an electrical charge floating in the water. You drink it, it goes through your body. First things, if there's any infection in the mouth, like an abscess tooth, you just hold some in your mouth and the abscess clears up and goes away. Okay, that's what happened to me and a lot of people I know. So I know that happens. That works with colloidal silver water. It gets rid of mouth infections and so forth. So you just rinse it around, spit it out, or rinse it around and swallow it, because once it's going through your body, it's looking for viruses, funguses, bacteria, and things like pneumonia, attaching it to these cells and penetrating the cell and disabling the oxygen in the cell. That's what this silver submicroscopic particle of silver carrying an electrical charge is doing. It's penetrating the cell and disabling the oxygen in the cell dies. Never builds up an immunity. You can't get used to it. So whereas it was an antibiotic, they tell me that they have now quit trying to make any new antibiotics because all the pathogens and that they know about, there's nothing that can make strong enough natural antibiotics. So, or not natural, I mean a chemistry, pharmaceutical, antibiotic, they've given up because all it does is build up stronger viruses and infections and bacteria, to where they're getting stronger and stronger and stronger by the trying to throw antibiotics at them. But if you're throwing colloidal silver at it, no defense. It never builds up a tolerance. The cell dies, and that's it. Goodbye fungus, bacteria, unwanted virus. It's gone. So that's very important to know when you're dealing with things like anemia. So that's gonna help you. That's gonna help with the fever and the fatigue and the pneumonia-like symptoms. Now, pernicious anemia is a severe form of anemia that is due to vitamin B12 deficiency. That's pernicious anemia, anemia, and that is where you're going to take that sublingual B12 and folic acid drops, and maybe where the dose is 1 drop. Well, hey, I take 6 every day, 6 drops, which is 5 times the normal dose. But I do that on a lot of things, and I always start with a small amount, and I find that when I hit my dose range at more than normal for most people, that's my range. I take a big dose of everything. So, in other words, I take a lot of B12, and I do it every day, sublingually, under the tongue. Now, persons with the pernicious anemia, they can't absorb any form of vitamin B12 from the gastrointestinal tract, so they're not going to get any B12 if they're trying to get it through their gut. Now, that's where the sublingual takes care of that problem. Now, malabsorption can cause pernicious anemia if you're not absorbing things correctly. In other words, you don't have the digestive enzymes, which, there we go. Digestive enzymes. Make sure you're getting a good digestive enzyme that's breaking down and digesting every single thing, especially if there's pernicious anemia. So, poor eating habits can cause pernicious anemia, and a gastrointestinal infection can cause pernicious anemia. Crohn's disease and gastric surgery, and sometimes even strict vegetarianism, can lead to pernicious anemia. So if the B12 levels fall too far, the result is lagging energy, depression, indigestion, diarrhea, anemia, all because you don't have enough B12. And you could get these drops, Okay, so an ongoing vitamin B12 deficiency carries a risk of neurological damage. In other words, you can have nerve damage if you keep it up. So find out about it, get it correctly diagnosed, then deal with it with the right kinds of nutrients and get it behind you. The most common cause of anemia is iron deficiency. Iron is an important factor in anemia because iron is a mineral that's used to make, as we said before, hemoglobin, the component of red blood cells that attaches to oxygen and transports it to where it's going, into the bloodstream. So red blood cells exist only, the red blood cells exist only to oxygenate the body and have a lifespan of about 90 to 120 days. If a person lacks sufficient iron, the formation of red blood cells is impaired. If they don't have enough iron, you can't make the healthy red blood cells. So iron deficiency anemia can be caused by insufficient iron intake and or absorption, or by significant blood loss. If you're losing blood, some people are losing blood, and they have to keep going for more transfusions and stuff. So we need to build up the blood, and they need to know about all these kinds of blood building herbs that are going to help. Now, so the iron deficiency anemia that's caused that can be caused by insufficient iron intake and or absorption, or by significant blood loss. Well, the blood loss is commonly seen in women who suffer from menorrhagia, which is heavy or prolonged menstrual bleeding, and which could be slowed down if they knew about cayenne pepper and apple juice, or an herb like shepherd's purse to slow down the bleeding. And if there's any kind of a hemorrhage going on, cayenne pepper will stop a hemorrhage before you can count to 10. If a person cut their finger off and the blood was spurting up into the air, and they took a teaspoon of 40 BTU cayenne or higher and put about half a cup of warm water or apple juice or whatever they want, about a half a cup is all they need. Stir it up and drink it down, and before you can count to 10, that blood hemorrhage will just flat stop. How does it do that? Because cayenne in about a teaspoon dose in warm water, that makes it go into the bloodstream faster, or apple juice, even warm or cool, but again, colder, a little slower going into the bloodstream. Warm, right now, it goes into the bloodstream. And when that cayenne hits that bloodstream, as you're drinking that half a cup of warm water and cayenne, what happens is the blood goes from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. It goes right to the center of your body. When it goes to the center of your body, you can't hemorrhage, and that's what the cayenne does. Cayenne is a stimulant, stronger than caffeine, so it will give you a buzz, better, stronger, safer than caffeine. And if somebody's having a heart attack and you did that remedy, it'll get them. That'll restart the heart better than nitroglycerin. Because it's a stimulant, and it'll stop any blood that's going away from the heart, causing the heart to even labor and have more, really go into a severe heart attack, because it's bringing that blood right to the center of the body, and so there's plenty of blood there, and it's restarted the heart. And if someone is in shock, it also takes them out of shock, because people go into shock because the blood goes to the head and they're in shock. Okay, now blood is back down to the center of the body because they took the cayenne, either that or cayenne tincture. If you didn't have a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, about 40 BTUs or hotter, about a half a teaspoon, or excuse me, about a level teaspoon to a half a cup of water, and stir it up, drink it down. Before you count to 10, it'll restart the heart, bring a person out of a heart attack, and stop a hemorrhage and stimulate the person, and they'll feel great, they'll have a lot of energy, and they'll say, I could not have had a heart attack because I don't feel like it. And I have no, and then we're talking about somebody 10 minutes later, they're going to say, I could not have had a heart attack. And although they actually did, they're going to say they didn't because they don't feel like it. There's no after effect. If you take them to the doctor, if they're and get them examined and so forth, they're not going to have the problems of somebody who neglected and didn't take the cayenne and had to go to the doctor, and you had oxygen starvation and all kinds of other problems going there. So cayenne pepper restarts the heart, takes care of hemorrhaging, takes you out of shock. Fantastic stimulant if you need it. And you say, I've got an ulcer, I can't take spicy food. Guess what? I'm going to tell you something now a lot of people just don't believe or understand. However, that same half a cup of warm water or apple juice or whatever you want, and that level teaspoon of cayenne will seal an ulcer and stop the bleeding and take away the pain, and you can go back to sleep within, let's say maybe a half hour to an hour, because you're going to be stimulated, so you're not going to be real sleepy right away. But after about a half hour to an hour, there's going to be no pain, and you can go to sleep if you want to. So, all right, more kombucha juice, and we're talking about anemia, and we're almost done exhausting information about it, but we want to do due diligence about anemia that affects millions of Americans. Kombucha mushroom. Is it even a mushroom? Now, so we left off talking about red blood cells, which also the amino acid L-taurine helps to rebuild red and white blood cells. And what else does? Does L-tyrosine, does it do that? Let's take a look here. I don't remember everything, but I remember where to look for everything. That is, where are we? Oh, leucine. Okay. L-taurine. It's found in high concentrations in the tissues of the heart, skeletal muscles, and central nervous system. It's used to treat some forms of epilepsy and in controlling seizures. So that would not be, but it's going to help the heart. So that's going to, and it's going to help the central nervous system. So that's going to be a valuable thing to have. But we're going to really look at L-tyrosine. That's the one, because L-tyrosine, T-Y-R-O-S-I-N-E, L-tyrosine. What it does, it plays an important role in the function of the adrenal and the pituitary and the thyroid glands, and it generates red and white blood cells. L-tyrosine. And you take it at night before bed. Okay? That's when to take. Don't take L-tyrosine during the day. Take it at night before bed. It's also, and puts you in a good mood. You're going to be it elevates your mood. L-tyrosine elevates the mood, so you're going to be in a better mood while you're sleeping. Great for people who are grinding their teeth. It'll help less bruxism. It'll slow that down because it puts them in a good mood. They're going to not want to grind their teeth, hopefully. Even if the FDA and the IRS and all those guys are chasing you around, you know. Take some L-tyrosine at bedtime. It produces melanin, the skin and hair pigment. So that's the one you want to know about, the L-tyrosine. If there's a problem with skin and hair color and so forth, and pigment, hair, skin pigment and so forth, well, L-tyrosine. It produces norepinephrine which is an appetite inhibitory neurotransmitter that suppresses the appetite. So you want to be cautious of that. If you're underweight, this is going to cause you not to be very hungry. But if you want to lose some weight, it's going to suppress the appetite a little bit. And so you want to watch that, because it's going to help in weight loss. And L-tyrosine, the amino acid, it stimulates the release of growth hormone, which causes muscle growth and reduces body fat. So, good weight loss trick as well as being good for red and white blood cells. So, L-tyrosine, I had into my mind L-taurine. Well, it's a good thing I checked on that, huh? So it is L-taurine. No, L-tyrosine. See, it's both with a T. I have to try to remember all this stuff. L-tyrosine. It'll help you sleep at night. Take it at night. Take 1 or 2 capsules, or as your healthcare provider says, or follow the directions on the label. I think it says about 1 or 2 capsules at bedtime. And if you're additionally having trouble sleeping, you can take 1 or 2 capsules, 3 milligrams each, of melatonin. Well, now that's really going to help. Now, if there is bruxism or something like that, and you really want to get a really good night's sleep, make sure you take your calcium and magnesium at bedtime as well. So now you've got L-tyrosine, you got the calcium and magnesium at bedtime, and melatonin. Whew, lights out. Oh, you're really having a tough time sleeping? Okay. There's a formula, herbal tincture called Sleep. Yes, sleep. It'll make you sleepy. So sometimes all you need is one thing. Some people need 2 things. Some people need a lot of help. They can need 3 things or 4 things. Good news is we've got a lot of different answers. So just know that's why we're doing this TV broadcast where you can go back and listen to it, fast forward it, rewind it, so that it's an audio video book that you can a resource that you can come to anytime you want to. Let's get back to anemia. Let's some more ideas about anemia. We've really uncovered some important information about red blood cells and L-tyrosine. And red blood cells exist only to oxygenate the body. So if you're drinking Kangen water, that's going to help to oxygenate the body better. If you're taking MSM powder, that's going to let the nutrients in and the oxygen and the oxygen into the cells, and it's going to let the toxins out better than ever before when you know about MSM powder. So anyway, I thought I'd mention that part. Now, because remember, the red blood cells only have a lifespan of between 90 and 120 days, and then it dies. But if you're taking MSM, I'd like to see some studies because I think that would make it last. That because it stops the cell from aging and dying, and then so does resveratrol. So, you start putting these kind of nutrients in, you're gonna the reports you're not going to be included in those reports because you're out of the box. You're doing more than they understand what you can do, more than they know about. So anyway, so we're talking about if a person lacks sufficient iron, the formation of red blood cells, is impaired, and iron deficiency anemia can be caused by insufficient iron intake or absorption or significant blood loss. All of these things can cause anemia. The latter, significant blood loss, that's commonly seen in women who suffer menorrhagia. We talked about that, and we left off talking about women who use intrauterine devices, they're running a risk of anemia because these devices devices for contraception are also these women are at a higher risk of anemia and of blood loss, as are those who overuse anti-inflammatory medications such as aspirin, ibuprofen, which can cause blood loss through irritation of the digestive tract. Excessive aspirin usage, particularly by the elderly people, may cause internal bleeding. So that's why if you're going to use aspirin, find out about the herb that was the origin of aspirin. That's white willow bark. White willow bark. Tincture, extract. No aspirin, don't need it. Aspirin is the acid. You see, in Germany, Bayer came up with this idea and took this 17th century chemist who came up with the idea and found that white willow bark is anti-inflammatory, and it's a pain reliever. So Bayer made an acid out of it, an acid drug called aspirin, out of the white willow bark, and made a synthetic out of it, and that hemorrhages the lining of the stomach and it bleeds. But if you take the white willow bark, the way nature provides it, you can take a teaspoon, a tablespoon, whatever amount you want, and whatever does the job for you, and it doesn't break down or hemorrhage the lining of the stomach. So anemia symptoms can easily go unrecognized. That's a problem. The first signs of developing anemia may be the loss of appetite, constipation, headaches, irritability, and or difficulty in concentrating. Established anemia can produce such symptoms as weakness, fatigue, coldness of the extremities, depression, dizziness, overall pallor, most noticeable in pale and brittle nails, pale lips and eyelids, and soreness in the mouth, and in women, cessation of menstruation just stops. And anemia has also been linked to a loss of libido. They're no longer interested in mating, because they have this anemia, and they don't want to. Their libido is lowered, and so that's what happens with anemia. Of those suffering from anemia, 20% are women, 50% are children. There. Okay. Anemia should always be investigated and the cause determined. So that's what we're saying here, is it needs to be investigated, the cause needs to be determined, so you really know the culprit, the cause. A complete blood count, or CBC, should be run by your doctor if anemia is suspected. This will measure both your red blood cell count and hemoglobin level. Now the hemoglobin normally should be between 12 and 18 grams per deciliter, G/DL. If you are anemic and your diet is ironclad, your physician can run a simple test called an ESR, which is a erythrocyte sedimentation rate, to detect any inflammation that's lurking in your body, which may be caused by anemia. So unless otherwise specified, the dosage that we're talking about here, and on this broadcast consistently, the dosages are for adults. For a child between the ages of 12 and 17, reduce the dose to 3/4 of the recommended amount. And for a child between 6 and 12, use 1/2 the recommended dose And for a child under the age of 6, 1/4 the recommended adult dose. So we talked about, when we got to get this anemia going, you could use raw liver extract, or you can eat raw liver. I know a fellow that swears by it, and I can get you in touch with some raw liver if you want it, or raw liver extract, about 500 milligrams twice daily. This contains all this raw liver extract. It contains all the elements needed for red blood cell production. So when you use this liver, you want to make sure it's organically raised beef. And and some people, may need injections under a doctor's supervision. But there's a lot of things that you can do before you might have to go, take the injections route of raw liver extract. Blackstrap molasses. Make sure you get the kind that's got all the minerals in it. 1 tablespoon twice daily for adults. 1 teaspoon added to milk for children and infants, because it contains the blackstrap molasses contains iron and the essential B vitamins. And then, of course, we talk about folic acid and B12 drops, and also take biotin. Biotin, the folic acid, at least 800 micrograms twice daily, needed for red blood cell count. And the biotin, 300 micrograms daily. So we talked about that. We talked about iron and vitamin B12. You can, if you get injections, you probably get about 2 cc's once weekly, or as prescribed by a physician. That would be vitamin B12 injections, or you take B12 under the tongue, 2,000 micrograms 3 times daily, and you take that with your B12 and folic acid drops, and that's going to really help you, because B12 is essential in red blood cell production and to break down and prepare protein for cellular use. And if injections are available under a doctor's supervision, and if injections are not available, you can use a lozenge or sublingual form of B12, like we said, which is very good. Now, make sure you're getting B complex, at least 50 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day, and lots of extra pantothenic acid. Besides that, an extra 50 milligrams 3 times daily of B5, pantothenic acid. B6, pyridoxine, 100 milligrams daily, and that's important. The B6, important in red blood cell production, and it's involved in cellular reproduction, and it aids in the absorption of the vitamin B12. So B12, the B vitamins work best to get when they're taken together rather than separately. So yes, you need extra B6. Yes, you need extra B12, and maybe you need some extra B3, and so forth. But the thing about it is, B vitamins work best when taken together. So make sure you are taking a sublingual form as much as possible, so that it goes right into your bloodstream, and make sure that you've got B complex going through your body almost 24/7. If your urine isn't yellow, then more B complex. You've got to keep that urine yellow, loaded with B complex. So now, where did we leave off here? we we left off talking about vitamin C. Vitamin C, about 3,000 to 10,000 milligrams daily of vitamin C, because that's important for iron absorption. And it's got to have bioflavonoids in it. That's why I searched and I searched for a vitamin C that's ascorbic acid, that makes it inexpensive, and also with a lot of different bioflavonoids. So that vitamin C works best with bioflavonoids. So, and that's the same time I'd be taking some grapeseed extract or pycnogenol, because those bioflavonoids are tissue builders. And so this is really going to strengthen the tissues in your body when you know about vitamin C, like we call ours high C. High C vitamin C, loaded with bioflavonoids. Brewer's yeast, as directed on the label, is rich in the basic nutrients and is a good source of B vitamins, and coenzyme A and coenzyme Q10. The coenzyme A supports the immune system's detoxification of many dangerous substances, and so does the Kangen water. It's an antioxidant water as well, so it helps to stop the oxidation of cells. Copper, about 2 milligrams daily. It's needed in red blood cell production, and you got to make sure you're getting 2 milligrams of copper every day in your multiple mineral, in your vitamins, somewhere in, you want to get it right around 2 milligrams of copper daily. And zinc, about 30 milligrams daily. You don't want to exceed 50 milligrams. That would be a maximum dose of vitamin C, unless you had a zinc deficiency. And the more zinc is used, you need to increase that copper proportionately needed to balance with the so every 30 milligrams of zinc you need about 2 milligrams of copper to keep the zinc in balance. So just know about that. SAMe, S-adenosylmethionine. It's as directed on the label, helps to reduce stress and depression. And a caution with SAMe, S-A, capital S, capital A, capital M, small e, SAMe. You use it as directed on the label. It helps reduce stress and depression. And do not use SAMe if you have manic depressive disorder or if you take prescription antidepressants. And vitamin A, about 10,000 IUs daily, of vitamin A, plus natural carotene, another 15,000 of beta carotene. So you're getting some mixed vitamin A here. You're getting, or a carotenoid complex. You take it as directed on the label. And that's very important as antioxidants, making sure you get plenty of vitamin A in several forms. Okay, beta carotene as well as just plain vitamin A. And vitamin E, at least 200 IUs, and you take it separately from your iron. Don't take your E with your iron. It's important to take the E because the E is for red blood cell survival, and it prolongs the lifespan of red blood cells. So you're going to get a better lifespan out of those red blood cells that are normally dying every 90 to 120 days. Well, you're going to get a full 120 days out of it, maybe 130. When you're taking vitamin E. And with vitamin E, you take it separately from your iron because it's going to compete with it. And so there we go. And of course we're going to use a D-alpha tocopherol form. All right, we're almost done here, detailing information about anemia. The herbs to use with anemia are alfalfa, bilberry, cherry, dandelion, golden seal, grape skins, hawthornberry, mullein, nettle, Oregon graperoot, pau de arco bark. I make something called daily health tea every day now for about 4 decades, since I was one of the first people in America to bring pau de arco into America from South America, and start drinking it, and found out it was bitter and nobody would drink it but me. But it was such an immune booster and good for the skin, good for the blood, good for the immune system. So I put cinnamon, raspberry, orange, ginger, and stevia with it. And people loved it. And I call it daily health tea. Every day I have a cup of daily health tea. Now, we left off talking about pau de arco. All it is pau de arco bark. And I spray all these cinnamon, raspberry, orange, ginger, spice flavor. It's delicious. Get some daily health tea. It's in a loose tea bag, and a loose bag. You get about a half a pound of it, and you just put it in the carafe, and you get a tea strainer, and you just strain it through and that's it. And you can leave that tea. This is an unusual thing. I don't do this with any other herb, but pau de arco bark, you can leave that tea in the carafe and warm it up the next day until you've drained that pot. You can go 2 or 3 days, because the longer it soaks, up to about 3 or 4 days max, you still then have a fresh, because it's like a preservative for in a way, but it's a natural preservative for humans and for wood. And when it's just laying there in the pot, it's just soaking and decocting and taking more and more nutrients out of it. By the 3rd or 4th day, you have exhausted the mark. We call it, whatever herb we're using, it's called the mark. And you exhaust the mark. You get everything you can get out of it. And so I learned with pau de arco, you can go 3 or 4 days and exhaust the mark. Then you throw it out and start with a fresh batch. But pau de arco, fantastic. Be sure and get some and have a cup of that. There are people who, and I'm not prescribing or diagnosing, you know that, but there are people that use it for cancer and the pain of cancer, pau de arco bark. That's what they use it for in South America. But we don't prescribe or diagnose, so we can't say we use it for that, right? And red raspberry, that's another herb that's against anemia. Red raspberry leaf tea and red raspberries. And shepherd's purse, which is also great against bleeding. The shepherd's purse will slow down bleeding. If you don't want to use the cayenne pepper because you don't want anything spicy, shepherd's purse will slow down any bleeding in the body. Okay? Shepherd's purse. And then I mentioned yellow dock, which is 40% iron. Those are some of the herbs. And we talked about golden seal here. You don't take golden seal or Oregon graperoot during pregnancy. And you do not take golden seal for more than 1 week at a time. And you use it only under your health care's supervision. If you have a history of cardiovascular disease, you get if you're taking golden seal or Oregon graperoot, you want to talk to your doctor about that before you do that, because if you have a history of cardiovascular disease, you want to coordinate with your doctor, or if you have diabetes or glaucoma. All of these are things you want to make sure to talk with your doctor if you're taking golden seal root or Oregon grape root. So we want to make sure and keep everybody on the same page, if possible. Some doctors, you mention herb or health or nutrition, and they're still in the Stone Age, and they are offended. Well, get another doctor, get another opinion. If nutrition offends them, and herbs and nutrition, if that offends them, get another opinion. Here's another one. Nettle is another herb for anemia. Nettle, Urtica dioica, is a nutritious plant rich in iron and vitamin C and chlorophyll and other minerals. It's all in nettles, stinging nettles, and it's an effective supplement in the treatment of iron deficiency anemia. Nettles, we can give you nettle tincture. And here's some other ideas, some recommendations according to Dr. Balch's book, A Prescription for Nutritional Healing. He also includes that we should be following a diet of apples, apricots, asparagus, bananas, broccoli, egg yolks. Woo! Almost dropped that. Good thing I'm fast. Oh, scared myself there a minute. Okay, hope I didn't scare you. Scared me. Thought I dropped my book. It's heavy. 869 pages. That's a lot of pages. I'm going to do every single one of them. Just like I did once before. All this is in audio version up on my website already as an audio, but now you're going to get it as a audio video as well on Ustream. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna put apples, apricots, asparagus, bananas, broccoli, egg yolks, kelp, leafy greens, okra, parsley, peas, plums, prunes, purple grapes, raisins, rice bran, squash, turnip greens, and whole grains, and yams. Those are foods that are great in your diet when there's anemia. Also eat foods that are high in vitamin C to enhance iron absorption. Okay, so that's it. That's what they know. That's what they know. That's what the experts know about anemia. All right, I'm putting that over there, and let's see what else anything else that we have. I'm going over to my condition reports on the website healthherbs.com, and I'm clicking on A, and I'm going to look over here. Here's an anemia. It's right on our website. Let's see what it says here. Well, there's that anemia relief herbal formula number 1008, and there's a blood building formula to build up the blood. Let's see what the herbs are in the blood building formula. Number 1015 has, you guessed it, yellow dock is the first herb in there. Dandelion root, buckthorn bark, poke root, garlic, and cayenne pepper. Just a little cayenne, not much. Okay. See, that's the secret when you're compounding these. You don't put a lot of cayenne in there. You put just enough cayenne to act as a catalyst and a stimulate to dilate the blood vessels and cells of the body, so that you can get these nutrients in here better. And that's what cayenne does. So cayenne, it's in a lot of formulas, but it's in there in just a tiny amount. I mean, you can hardly tell it's there. Okay, so that's what that formula is. That's the Truman's blood formula. Now, let's go back over here to anemia. Let's see what else is going on. So, okay, and there's a tea called Truman's CACT. number 4300 CAC-T. And this tea, Truman CAC-T, cleans up the digestive tract, cleans up the bloodstream, dumps toxins and poisons through the bowel and out. And you get rid of them. So this is a detox tea called Truman's CAC-T. That's another thing that's used for for anemia. Drink all that one. And so the CAC is a colon, the CAC-T is a colon and liver cleanser tea. That is for the colon. It's a cleanser for the colon, the blood, and the liver. And it's also a detoxifier. This tea, it serves to regulate the bowel movements so that the stool is very soft, and it helps with constipation. And so you use this cleansing tea. It has a lot of benefits. It improves overall digestion. It strengthens the immune system. It helps to defend against cancers and other things that are attacking the body, because it's a powerful blood cleansing, detoxifying herbal tea that's taking things out the bowel, and you're in charge whether you use a little bit or a lot. Okay? It makes the skin more emollient and flexible, and it clears the eyes. And it provides an overall tonic effect on the body. And here's the key. All of that, and this is not a habit-forming herbal product, because most of these things that do what that does, you're addicted to it. You got to keep taking it because your bowel gets lazy. This one does the opposite. After a while, you need less and less and less and less, because it restores the peristaltic colon muscle action in the bowel, and it restores that tone, and you need less and less. All of a sudden, everything's going back to work, and you only need this, when you've eaten something you shouldn't have, and slowed the bowel movements down, because every bowel movement should be so soft it breaks up in a cloud. You should use a colon and liver cleanser like this, maybe some extra calcium, magnesium. Those are the key things for bowel health. And so the ingredients are Cascara Sagrada. By itself, that herb alone is habit forming. However, when you take the Cascara Sagrada and you blend it properly for about 50 years, like I have, and got it from somebody else, this recipe, I got this from another herbalist, and then I improved it, because that's what we do. But the Cascara Sagrada, although that's gonna be the positive effect to get the bowel to dump the poisons and toxins out of your system. And the buckthorn is going to balance the Cascara Sagrada, and the dandelion root is a very mild laxative filled with nutrition. Then there's licorice root that gives you energy, stimulates the adrenal glands. And then there's burdock root that is good against arthritis and all kinds of problems in the bloodstream and so forth. And red clover blossoms is in there, and that's good for the bloodstream. And guess what? There's pau de arco bark, our immune system builder, and astragalus root, which is one of the great immune builders, especially for younger people. The astragalus works even better. Then there's stevia leaf in the tea, and there's milk thistle, and fringe tree bark, and echinacea, and golden seal root, and ginger root, and fennel, and yellow dock, which is 40% iron, and poke root that works on the glands. So we're working on the glandular system, the liver, the bloodstream, the bowel, with all of these herbs in a perfectly balanced tea that you take about 3/4 of a cup of this bulk tea, because you get a half a pound of it, and 3/4 of a cup into 3 quarts of water. This you boil the water. Put 3/4 of a cup of the tea in the boiled water, and you simmer it for 40 minutes. And the adults take half to 1 cup or more. Start with a small amount and increase it until you no longer have constipation and you are in control of cleaning out and feeling great. Because that's what happens. So you might take it once a day, you might take it twice a day, 1 cup or more. 1 cup, or half a cup, or 1/4 of a cup, 1 to 2, 3 times daily. You'll find the best times for you to take it. What we don't want is for you to have to be getting up in the middle of the night to go clean out in the bathroom when you should be sleeping. So let's regulate your bowel movements and get in touch with when to take this tea, what time of the day, what time of the afternoon, or whatever that you should take this, to where you're having a really good clean out, probably at night before bedtime, so that you are all cleaned out and getting a better night's sleep, because you don't have all those toxins and everything waiting till morning to leave the body. So, but now here's the thing. Some people don't want to, or their rhythm of their body and bowel movement isn't going to happen at night. It's going to happen in the morning, first time when they get up. That's it. So then, whatever it is, work with your body. And if you're cleaning up the bloodstream and you're thinking about things like anemia, then there's the perfect colon and liver cleanser that you can make it up and put it in 3 quarts of it into the refrigerator. And the children, they take maybe 1/4 of a cup to a half a cup or less. Infants over the age of 2, they can take 1 to 2 tablespoons, and then you keep the unused tea and refrigerate it. Okay, so that's the CAC tea. That is a constipation breaker. Now you say, I don't want to brew up a tea. Okay, you don't have to. Guess what? We make it in a liquid, 16 ounce or 32 ounce bottle, and it's a liquid. And you just take it, the liquid all made up, ready to go. Boom, pour a tablespoon or a teaspoon, whatever amount, into your daily health tea. And mix it up a little bit. Break down your daily health tea with your CAC liquid in there. If there's any other herbs in there, maybe you're taking a formula for the heart. Because if there is anemia, you're going to want about heart support. And a heart support herbal tincture formula that you can put drops right underneath the tongue, or you can put it into a tea so that when it goes into your mouth, you're going to get some in your cheeks and under your tongue, and you're going to get a good dose of all these nutrients sublingually, which gives you the best absorption. But there's a heart formula of herbal tincture, a combination called Heart 1249. Heart number 1249 herbal tincture that has motherwort, hawthornberry, tansy, fenugreek seed, garlic root, and a little cayenne pepper, and some hawthorn leaf, and some ginkgo are also in there, and the structured water. Okay, and that is a heart formula. Motherwort, hawthornberry, tansy, fenugreek seed, garlic root, cayenne pepper, hawthorn leaf, ginkgo, structured water, preserved in 20% alcohol. And if you don't want the alcohol, you can also get everything I always mention. Ask them to put it into a capsule. They'll do it. ask them to make it into a tea. They'll do it, because we're a nonprofit Christian ministry. We do things no one else will do, and we take the time to educate you completely about any subject, including anemia. And we're just about done. So, a heart support formula. And when there's anemia, be a good idea to use a spleen and pancreas support herbal tincture, number 1077. So that 1077 tincture, see, you could put all these drops right into a cup of herbal tea. Whew, it's gone, or squirt right under the tongue, and have a cup of herbal tea, and you got it. It's easy. You don't have to choke down a bunch of capsules unless you want to. Some people want capsules. Then that's what you get. Spleen and pancreas support formula number 1077. Let's take a look at what's in here. Chamomile, uva ursi, yellow dock, that's more iron, golden seal root, parsley, dandelion, yarrow flower, and another dash of cayenne pepper to make everything go to work again. So that's spleen and pancreas support herbal formula number 1077, and that is valuable to know about when there is anemia. Then there's parsley root and nettle leaf and bee pollen granules and yellow dock itself, that single herb, and dong quai root and Eleutherococcus senticosus. All of these are valuable herbs when there is anemia. Also the herb watercress, and Truman's super green foods. That's chlorella, spirulina, barleygrass, wheatgrass, alfalfa powder, kelp powder. Wow, it's loaded with stuff. There's something else in there in the super green foods. One more thing in here besides that. What is it? It's so rich in chlorophyll and DNA, RNA, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, olive leaf extract, dulse, kelp, and olive leaf, and alfalfa. Man, that is a super green food formula, and I always put a heaping tablespoon into a cereal that takes me about 3 days to get through this bowl of cereal. I've got so much stuff in it. I eat about a third of it and put saran wrap over the top and eat another third the next day and another third the next day and finally get through it. But man, which means that I'm probably about 1 level tablespoon every day of super green foods that's got the chlorella, spirulina, barleygrass, wheatgrass, green kamut, Egyptian alfalfa, and regular alfalfa, and dulse, and kelp, and olive leaf, and there's about 42 level teaspoons per 4-ounce bag, and 168 level teaspoons per pound in a pound bag. So in average, the average use of it is mix a quarter of a teaspoon of the super green foods with herbs. You do mix a quarter of a teaspoon of the powder with 1 cup of water or vegetable juice, or nut milk or seed milk or anything you want. Sprinkle on food, however you want to get it down. It's funny how it tastes like chocolate in my cereal. It does. It really does. I think it's all the all the blueberries, cranberries, and raisins, and all the other really nice cherries that are in my. All that's so sweet, and it coats the fiber, the super green foods coat all of those fruits, and they taste like chocolate when you do that. And I haven't figured that out yet, but it works, and I love it, and other people love it too. And it's so high in nutrition. It's awesome. It's the most nutritional thing you can do besides bee pollen, and this one, of course, is so rich in chlorophyll and amino acids and vitamins and minerals and beta carotene and RNA, DNA and enzymes and dietary fiber. We're talking about number 3600 Super Green Foods. Good against everything, and especially something you should have if there's anemia. But that's something everybody should have, the Super Green Foods. It's the one thing if I don't get my Super Green Foods, I start fading on myself. I don't have the energy that I need. Okay, let's go back again, make sure we took care of everything. Finally, Intramax is the best vitamin out there right now, for over 400 vitamins, and it's a liquid form, and you hold it in your mouth for a couple of minutes and you swallow it first thing in the morning, last thing in the evening, unless it keeps you awake and it's got so much power in it, it could. So if the evening dose of Intramax liquid vitamins keeps you awake at night, well, take it earlier in the day. Take your morning dose, take your afternoon dose, and don't take an evening dose if it gives you so much energy you can't sleep. And then there's other vitamins you can take, that if you can't afford the best vitamins on the planet, which is Intramax. If you can't afford that, then get the Mega 1 or Mega 2. If you need iron, get the Mega 2 daily, because the Mega 2 daily, it's loaded with 2 capsules supplies 20,000 vitamin A, 20,000 IUs of vitamin A. Two vegetarian capsules have 250 milligrams of vitamin C in it, 400 IUs of vitamin D, and 60 IUs of vitamin E, and on and on and on. I mean, this thing, and iron. Now here's the iron in a amino acid chelate fumarate. Now that is an iron that gives you 50 milligrams of iron. That is good. I mean, that's a good source of naturally chelated iron. Plus, if you're getting all that yellow dock and doing these other kinds of things, that's it. We have exhausted what the leading book in America on nutritional healing, and what I know and what they know, and various supplements and so forth. That's it. We've done it. We have talked about anemia. So there it is.